Right, we are live. It's Saturday, March 29th, 2 p.m. It's an afternoon printing session. Today we're going to be working on this island print again. And this is a reductive print. Last time we printed this blue color from this block. And today I'm going to start the stream by gluing down this transfer sheet. So I started this print on this block, and after I carved all the detail for the water, I had to reduce it again, and then it was going to be really complicated to carve into this. There's so much chaos there, so I just started a new block to get a clean piece of wood to work on. But now I'm going to go back to this original block to carve away just these island shapes. So I'm going to glue this down really quick, and I'll show you how I do that. I do that with some nori paste, which is a water-based paste. It's really warm out today. It's a beautiful day. After this stream, I'm going to get outside and figure something out. But again, I'm in New York City, so I apologize for all the noise. So we just put a decent amount of glue down here. Actually need a little bit more at the bottom here. Seems to be a good amount. Welcome back, Atelier Thune. So we're gluing down a transfer sheet just to start the stream off, and then I'm going to get into some printing. So I always cut a little corner to get this paper started. So I already put the glue down. Give that a nice, and then we can start peeling our Gampi paper from our copy paper. Nice and easy. And that's that. That's done. Just take another sheet of paper and burnish down. Make sure that's pasted down well. And there we have it. I don't need all this additional paper. I can cut that off. And I could potentially use it again for some smaller projects. So I'll just save this little sheet of Gampi paper. So that's all that we have to do for this. And then after this is dry, cursors on predictive test. I'm not exactly sure what that comment means. Okay. So that's just going to dry, and then I'll get to carving that later tonight or tomorrow. So now we're on to back onto this block. Now after I printed this color the other day and after it dried, I realized I want a gradation going up from the, I want to bring a little bit of gradation from the bottom of this print up into these waves, or this reflection of the shadows of the water. And I think it'll be a nice little touch to the bottom, because I am going to carve all this water, reflective water pattern away, or texture. So I'm thinking about just doing a little gradation here, just to add a little bit of depth. So for today, that's what we're going to be doing, just a little gradation, nothing too complicated. I have a small brush that I use for this, and I have a black dot on the one side, so I know that's the dark side. So I will just be applying the pigment get my little tool here. I'll be making sure. Sometimes it's easier just to turn the block when you do this. So I'll just be applying the pigment from side to side for this one. So to start, we're just going to put pigment at the bottom only. I want this to be quite dark, so I'm just going to kind of load it for the first time. I'm going to add a little paste. Just going back and forth, keeping this straight, keeping the bristles in line. We can take a little test sheet here and see what it looks like. You can see it's just a little gradation moving up. Oh, it's supper time there again. I forget, are you in South Africa or Europe? That's closer to what I'm looking for. So just do this a couple times to warm up the block and get the appropriate amount of pigment into the brush. I don't expect to see too many people on this live stream today because it is Saturday. I know a lot of people have things to do. And in New York City today, it's like 77 degrees. It feels like summertime. It's unseasonably warm. And it's humid. It's like 50% humidity. I stepped outside and I was like, it felt like summer. So I have to be careful not to get pigment on this corner Kento. So I'm going to make sure I clean that every time. I think I'm going to go for a print this time. And the first two sheets are some test sheets. So I'm not too worried about what it looks like. It's hard to see, but it definitely does add some depth to the front portion of this water. It's subtle. I'm actually just going to do this one again to get it, to push it even deeper. Just do another one real quick. You can see the pigments coming through this paper. All right. Oh yeah, you're in Scotland. All right. How's the weather there today? Grab another sheet here. It's another test sheet. But it's okay if there's not that many people on here today because these are being replayed on YouTube. So you can find all of these live streams on the replay. And they seem to be doing pretty well actually for the replays. I'm getting a decent amount of people watching. And they actually seem to be on my videos longer with the replays than they are with regular videos. Well, this is a subtle little gradation, but it's there. And I think it's a nice little touch. It just brings the value darker in the foreground. It creates a little bit more space. So I'm going to move on to the good paper for this next impression. So let's see how that goes. It'll definitely look better. You'll probably be able to see the gradation better on the next sheet. There. All right, so here goes the good paper. So this is where our print is currently at. Let's see what this does. Because I use these Kento as registration, I can perfectly line up this paper every time. So I can do these multiple impressions of the same block and it should line up perfectly. You can see the pigment coming through the paper. And it's not really obvious. It's definitely subtle. But it's there. And when I darken these, when I carve this next block which we pasted down at the beginning of this stream. You can see the island, the tree textures, and that'll really come forward as well, creating some more interest in the print. So it's subtle. It's a little bit time consuming to do these little impressions, but it really makes a difference when you add these little touches to these prints. Not brilliant. The weather or the print? So here, I'm also going to clean this side over here. It's building up some paste. Just wondering what happens if I do it twice. So, oh, great. So my neighbor's about to use his really annoying... I don't know if you can hear that. I hope not. He's got this electric blower he blows his driveway with. So I'm doing this one twice just to see what it looks like. See if it adds any more depth. Yeah, it does a little bit. I don't really want to do these twice, but it's adding a little bit of extra depth to it. Let's see. I think I just do it once. Just load the bottom with some more pigment, I think. Where'd my little tool go? I lost my little tool. Here it is. Yeah, sorry if you can hear that noise. I wonder if that's the mother or the father that's blowing today. I want to check, see. Because it's a different... I can't see. It's a different sound, like someone does it really intermittently. Oh boy. So just side to side, clean my Kento areas. And let's see what this looks like. So yeah, this isn't super exciting today. I figured I'd just show you this little gradation. But yeah, people I seem to be watching these live stream replays. They're spending more time on it than my videos that I actually have to sit down and edit. So doing these live streams kind of shows you the same thing, but with less editing. Whoops. I'm trying to finish this print. Excuse me. I'm trying to finish this print before April 4th, so I can submit it to an exhibition. So I kind of put a pause on everything else just so I can get this thing finished. So I think there'll be 2 more, possibly 3 more impressions. In those island areas. Is that the Snowden cartridge paper you're using. The Snowden cartridge paper. I don't know what paper this is. This is a paper I've had for a long time. I think I got it from McLean's in the States. Hey, welcome, Mr. Bone Project. I'm glad you learned from that video. Are you carving yourself? Or are you just learning by watching? Yeah, so I think I got this paper from McLean's. It has a small amount of pulp in it. So it's like 95% kozo, maybe 5% pulp. But for these reductive prints, it's pretty nice. It works well. So because I'm having a hard time finding really good quality paper, I've just been going through and using up all the scraps and all the offcuts for these smaller projects. I've just been using it up. But thank you for the compliment, Bone Project. I'm curious if you're carving on a wood surface or a linoleum, and if you're carving on a wood surface, what kind of wood are you working with? So you're working on both linoleum and wood. I think linoleum is a great material to start with for carving. If I were to teach somebody from the ground up, I would just have them start with some linoleum because it's soft. I would still use the traditional tools, the Japanese carving tools, just so they can get a real good sense of how to cut the material and the angles you need to cut it at. And then when you go to the wood, that introduces you to some grain. You know, you got if you're cutting with the grain or across the grain. So maybe move to Shina plywood next, because that's pretty, the grain doesn't matter too much on the Shina plywood. And then move into a hardwood like cherry. So if I organized a class of how to print or how to carve, I think that's how I would structure it. I would love to teach a class or a workshop, carving and printing. Just don't know how to get it started. So if anyone's out there watching this and you're interested in learning how to carve and print and want some one-on-one classes or workshops, especially if you're in the New York City area. But nowadays you can just also do it over a Zoom call or do it over a live stream like this. So that would be fun to get like a group of 10 people or so and do maybe a 5-day workshop or something like that, where we could all carve and print from a block. You would just be required to get your own materials. It's hard to tell that this impression is even doing anything, but it definitely is. Like if I turn it upside down and I squint my eyes, it might be hard to see on this camera. But if I turn it upside down and squint my eyes, I can see there's a little variation there. So it's subtle, but it's there. Got about 20 sheets in here, maybe about halfway through already. And then I'm gonna go, after this, I think I'm gonna drive to New Jersey. My wife and son are already at the park hanging out with some of my wife's cousins and their kids. They're at the park playing today. I'm gonna meet them over there in a couple hours. And it's so warm out today. It's 77 degrees in New York City today. It feels like summer. So I think we're gonna do some backyard barbecue, and I might even get to go play some pickleball. So last summer I kind of got into pickleball for a little while. It's fun, but it's really hard on my knees and ankles. So I kind of twisted my knee a little bit on Thanksgiving actually, and I haven't played pickleball since then. So it's been a good 4 months or so, 5 months since I've played pickleball. So I'm just gonna take it easy and have fun. And I don't take the sport too seriously anyways. I'm not like a pro. But it is fun to play. It's great exercise. But this year I've been doing less pickleball, more rock climbing and riding my bike. Which riding my bike is great. It's a great form of exercise for me. It's easier on the joints. I was out climbing yesterday in the gunks, and man, it was a beautiful day yesterday. It was like 55 degrees, a little bit of sunshine, but I was in a t-shirt for the majority of the day. It was a really good day climbing. So sometimes we don't get like a real spring. It just goes from winter to summer in New York State. You can see the pigments coming right through the sheet of paper. It's getting onto my backing sheet there. So where are you located, Mr. or Mrs. Bone Project? If you're still with us. There's my neighbor, he just started his car. He started his car the other day on the live stream. He's the bus driver. He's got one of those like really loud mufflers, exhaust systems. His little Honda. He's out there working on his car all the time. You know what's interesting on this print, I kind of left the border on, but then I started to cut the border away at certain stages of the print. So you can see a subtle border in the sky. And then down here I actually left the bottom, just a solid. So it's kind of an interesting little touch to the edge of the print. I like doing that sometimes. Like as I'm reducing the block, I'll start to carve away the border. So the border isn't just one solid color. It kind of changes as the print develops. Good afternoon, Daniel. Arizona. He's interested in a workshop. That's great. Yeah, if anyone's seriously interested, I would love to start something. I could set something up through my website, or I was thinking maybe just starting like a Patreon where, you know, I could do in-person classes with groups of people, and we can we could focus on different aspects of printmaking, but we can also share our projects with each other and kind of grow as a community is kind of my goal. Just having a hard time figuring out how to start it, how to organize it. But if you're serious and you want to start something, reach out to me, Daniel, or whoever out there, through YouTube, you can email me through YouTube, or you can email me through my website at stevenwinecki.com. You know, just send me an email with your contact information, and we can work on something together. We can develop something. But yeah, I do have to start something soon. Currently, I'm in between jobs. I've taking some time off to focus on printmaking and to focus on making YouTube videos and really trying to grow this YouTube channel. I'm almost monetized. It's taken me, I've really only been focusing on YouTube for the last like 6 months or 8 months, but I'm trying to grow that into something that's some sort of business where I can continue to teach or continue to work and not have to get another full-time job. I eventually will get another job, but I'm taking this opportunity, this time off, to kind of just focus on this for right now. Like I mentioned in my last stream, I have a solo exhibition in November. I'd love to focus on making work for that for the next 6 months before I fully commit to a new job. I've looked at some platforms like School. It's SKOOL if you're not familiar with it. It's one of these community-based forums that people can, you can either have it for paid, like where people pay to be a member, but you can also have it so it's free for a membership. People can be on there doing art and cooking, and there's people on there doing all different stuff. I don't think that would work for me. I think a Patreon or just doing it through like these live streams by invite only on YouTube would work. But it would have to be a way that people can all communicate. I mean, you could just do Zoom calls, I guess, as long as there was a schedule and there was a calendar where people could sign up. But I would love to do some in-person workshops as well, so it's definitely a goal of mine in the near future. Because I do want to share and teach people how to do this. I'm really passionate about it, and I think it's a great way for people to, you know, focus their attention on something that's not a distraction from their phones, watching TV or watching YouTube. No, it's a great way to focus their attention, and you can really learn. I feel like you can learn about yourself through printmaking. You know, it's different than painting. You know, I'm a painter as well, and I enjoy painting. But there's something about printmaking. It's very rewarding, and there's a finish line to it. There's only so much material that you can carve away, and after all the material's gone, the print is finished, and it just exists. With painting, I have a hard time knowing when to stop. It's endless. You can just keep going and layering and keep going, and sometimes I get frustrated with painting because I almost feel like I ruin my paintings. The more I work on them, the more, you know, I enjoy the beginning stages of painting. So I end up working on a painting for a while, and I'm like, oh, this is looking really good. Maybe I should stop. And then I said, no, just keep going and see how far you can take it. And then I overwork it, or it gets boring, and then I just have to abandon it. And I just I've only made a few paintings in my life. I've made a lot of paintings, but there's really only a few that I really appreciate. So another goal of mine is to get back outside and do some plein air painting, because I used to really enjoy that. You know, setting up the easel on site, being out in nature for a few hours, and just painting what's in front of you. It's really good practice. So that's another goal I have. Yeah, I think we all have to find ways to like get off of the screen time. So printmaking is a great way. I love carving. It's very enjoyable. I'm not going to put any pigment in the brush this time because it's pretty loaded. Man, I can feel the humidity. It's getting really warm in my apartment. I'm going to have to go find my summer clothes. It's feeling like summer today. So you're in Arizona. Whereabouts? I've been to Arizona a couple times. I flew into Phoenix and I did some rock climbing at Cochise, which is down south of Tucson, south of Tucson. I've climbed in Tucson as well at Mount Lemmon. And then I've climbed at Cochise, which is Cochise Stronghold, which that place is amazing. Really enjoy the climbing there. Some big walls, some big domes. There's these huge dome-like I think we have 3 more sheets left. Just count them. Yeah, 3 more. We're going on 50 minutes here. Yeah, these seem to be going about an hour is a good time for these. And for all of you that are continuing to join me on these and sticking around for the whole thing, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh wow, so you're in the Cochise County, is that? And that's in South Arizona. It's got to be pretty warm there already for the season. I'm not sure. And that Mount Lemon area near Tucson was really cool. I would love to ride my bike from Tucson all the way up to the top of Mount Lemon. That'd be a huge ride. I don't know how many thousand feet, what the elevation gain would be. It's like 10, I want to guess like 8 to 10,000 feet of climbing or something on a road bike. And then you just come down. You have to have some really good brakes, but there's a lot of cyclists out there when we were there. And I know there's some really good mountain biking there as well. So I'd like to go visit Arizona again someday for climbing and mountain biking, road cycling. Yeah, I really liked the Tucson area. Seemed pretty chill. A lot of retired. I was there kind of in the winter, like February or March, I believe. There's a lot of retired people there. That's where they go for the winter. Similar on the East Coast, everyone goes to Florida. Anyone that's from like New York or Canada, a lot of people retire and they go down to Florida in the winter months just to get some nicer weather. Yeah, it's right on the Mexican border, the Cochise stronghold. Yeah, I don't know how you handle the summers in Arizona. It's got to be difficult. I guess you're inside a lot. I have a friend who lives in Vegas. She's a big climber. And yes, July and August, she doesn't even go outside. But they have a larger mountain there in Vegas that she goes up. I forget the name of the mountain that's nearby. She'll go up there, up in the elevation, and it's cooler. You do some hiking and exploring. The problem with the summers in New York, especially in New York City, is they just get so humid. It's like unbearable humidity sometimes. At least in Arizona, you have the dry heat. So this is my last sheet. So this wasn't a super exciting impression. You don't see the difference very much. But it's just a little touch that I thought would be nice before I carve all this water away. I figured I'd give it one more little gradation. Try to bring some deeper values into the foreground. It's subtle, but it's there, and just adds a little bit of depth to the print. Let's pull one up from the beginning. Yeah, see, really, this one isn't the best example here. after it dries, it really loses a shade of value. You can tell this is the dry print from the earlier, the stack. They're pretty much already dry. You can see the depth is just, when it dries, it loses at least one value, one shade of value. So I don't know how I'm going to finish this print. I might have to finish this print with some oil pigments just in the really deep darks here. I might do one more layer in the islands. So we started the stream by gluing down this block, which is dry now. I can start carving that. But you can see the island, the tree shapes, which will be going on to this next. So I'll try one more dark impression onto this, but I don't know how much darker I can get. I might have to use some oil pigments for the deepest darks, maybe the last two impressions. Yeah, Phoenix is cooler. Yeah, it's a nice part of the country to visit if you haven't. So yeah, we're just working on this little print. I'm trying to get this finished by April 4th, so I'm going to just be focusing on this. So I'll probably get this carving done tonight, definitely by tomorrow. And I think it'll be two more impressions. It'll be this color, and then I'll reduce this block one more time with the darkest darks in these trees on these islands. And then this print will be finished. And I'll go back to my other work that I was showing you, the first couple streams that I've done like last week. So I've used 2 blocks for a reduction print for this one. So I'm going to set that up like that, and I'm going to take a photo when I sign off here, and this will be the thumbnail for the replay. So let's go show you what's going on outside. So yeah, I just have you on my little tablet here. That's how I've been reading the comments. I don't know if that's the best setup, but it seems to be working. There's a delay. And it's cool because the delay when I do this, it's a picture within a picture within a picture. It's pretty cool. Let's have a look outside and see what's going on. So you can see the buds are on the tree in front of my apartment, and they're starting to flower. It's a little bit cloudy. It's humid out there today. And the Con Edison hole is still out there. But it's looking like a nice day, so I'm gonna have to get out there, go play some pickleball, and do some barbecue with the family. So thanks for following along. And thanks for watching these videos. Be sure to leave some comments and hit me up on my website if you're interested in some lessons or doing some sort of Zoom calls on how we can get something going with some lessons for some people. That'd be great. I would really enjoy that. So have a good weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now.